Hey guys, welcome back to Miibooth. So you must have come across those universal 3-in-1 set of lens for smartphones, which are quite popular. You simply clip them over any phone's camera, and they give you these awesome effects like fisheye, wide angle, and macro. Well, today I have something similar, but instead of three, it is 10 in 1.
If gadget reviews, DIY projects, and life hacks are your thing, then consider subscribing to my booth and turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss out on any of the action.
So here's the box. It is by a brand called Apexel, and I got it from Amazon for $16. On the back, we have all the lens and their functions explained, and for a change, the explanations are quite clear and easy to understand. Inside the box, we have a case, which is really thoughtful because you see you have a keyring, which you can simply use it to hang it from a belt or a backpack. Inside, we have a user manual, a cleaning cloth, a universal clamp which has one lens attached to it, and 8 more lens extensions next to it, one of which is a 2-in-1. So basically, the 10 lens that we have are a 198 degrees fisheye lens, a 0.63x wide angle lens, and a 15x macro, which are screwed together. Together, they act as the wide angle lens, and if you remove the top part, it becomes a macro lens. A CPL polarized lens, star filter lens, two kaleidoscope lens, a radial filter, a 2x telephoto zoom lens, and a flow filter lens. The clamp has rubber paddings on both sides so it doesn't scratch your phone's surface or the camera, and it's pretty tight so it won't fall off. Let's start having a look at each one of them with some demos. So the fisheye is a 198-degree lens which will basically round up the field of view into a circular image. I'm pretty sure you must have come across it somewhere. Let me show you how it looks. So this is the standard view of a camera, and this is with a fisheye lens. I've also got some sample images for you for better perspective. Now you can see the areas close to the edges are blurry, and that is a sign of not very good quality lens. Next up, we have the wide plus macro combo. Now the wide angle lens comes in really handy when you want to fit more people or stuff into the frame without having to move farther away to take the picture. Check this out. This is a normal picture, and this is the same picture with a wide angle lens from the same position. If I fit my normal picture into this, you can see how much extra you can cover with the lens. Now every wide angle lens can do this, but for me it passes the test if the clarity is good and there are no dark corners. In this one there are no dark corners, but you can notice a slight blur in the extreme corners, which is not a very good sign but pretty common among low cost lens. Wide angle lens is especially helpful when you want to take pictures of your property or of inside your car, or any tight spaces for that matter. Moving to the macro, it says 15x macro. I'm not sure if that's true, but it's always fun to play around with it. Here are some examples. Next up is the CPL lens. So this basically has a polarized film over it, which will minimize glare when shooting in very bright conditions like outdoors during afternoon in bright sunlight. Now to find out if a lens is truly polarized, there is a simple test you can do. Simply point it at your computer screen and start turning it sideways, like clockwise. If it is polarized, you will notice it going dark as you turn it and eventually become completely dark. Here are some pictures with and without the polarized lens. There is a slight difference as you can see. The color temperature is quite different in both, but in some cases I might prefer the original pictures over the polarized ones. Next we have the star filter lens. You can see it has a crisscross pattern over the glass, so this basically turns points of light into kind of stars if you shoot in the dark, very similar to the lens glare effect in Photoshop. Here are some pictures with and without the lens. It does kind of make the rest of the picture blurry, but that is a trade-off you have to make to achieve the filter effect. Alright, so next we have these two kaleidoscope lens. One of them has 3 faces and the other 5. Actually 6 including the middle one. Now if you don't know what a kaleidoscope is, you can go ahead and Google it. It's a fun thing to play with and you can get these crazy patterns with it, different every time. These are better viewed in videos, so here are some video examples with both the lens. You'll notice that most of these lenses are freely rotating to achieve their respective effects, but this can be sometimes problematic because you have to tighten the lens onto the clamp and it's not that easy when the whole thing is moving freely. Not all the lenses have this issue. The ones that do have this bottom part which is stable and you'll have to manage with that. Next we have a radial filter lens. So you center out your subject and the lens will create a radial blur effect around it. Here are some pictures. Next, we have a 2x telephoto lens. This basically gives you a 2x zoom. Here are some pictures with and without the lens. Now, this is one of the more useful lenses in the kit. Finally, we have the flow filter lens. Now, this is very similar to the radial filter, but instead of the blur spreading out from the center outwards, it is moving in one direction throughout the lens like motion blur effect in Photoshop. The good thing about this is that you can change the blur to be in any direction simply by rotating the lens. Here are some picture examples. So that's pretty much it about the lens. In my opinion, it is a decent kit to have if you're a photography enthusiast. The real useful and practical lens I would say are the wide angle, CPL, macro, and 2x zoom. The remaining are more like Instagram filters, but hardware version. The quality is average. After a couple times of using it, scratches started showing up on the surfaces of the lens, which I'm not really happy about, but it is relatively cheap, so I'm not going to complain. There is some blurring near the edges in fisheye and wide angle, but thankfully no dark corners. The bag is nifty too. I'll leave a link in the description box below in case you want to check it out. That's it for now guys. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button below and subscribe to my booth for more gadget reviews, life hacks, and facts. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Instructables. All the links are in the description box below. Click on the thumbnails to watch my other videos or check out my YouTube channel for more. And as always, thanks for watching.